So hello and welcome along to Susty Talk, Edie's new series of video interviews put together to keep our audience of sustainability and energy professionals talking, feeling connected and of course optimistic through this uncertain period of lockdown and now the easing of lockdown in the UK and beyond. I'm Edie's content editor, Matt Mace, and joining me for this episode of Susty Talk, we have Keyvan Macedo, which I hope I pronounced correctly, Senior Sustainability Manager at Natura. For those unaware, Natura is the owner of brands such as Avon and more recently The Body Shop. Well, actually, no, Avon is more recently than The Body Shop, I believe. Keyvan, whereabouts are you connecting from today?
I'm connecting from Jundiaí, which is very close to São Paulo city.
Okay, that's I think I've spoken to a few people from the US and Europe, but not South America. So what's lockdown been like over there for you in terms of your ability to work and interact with the rest of your sustainability team?
It's a little bit challenging because we are doing this lockdown since the middle of March, but so far we are doing very good. We have a very capacity to adaptate ourselves in this home office situation. So far we are trying to deal with all the things, not only supporting the company, but even try to maintain the actions on sustainability.
And what's because obviously in the UK we're now easing lockdown and offices are starting to reopen. Obviously, I'm still working from home, but a lot of kind of the more critical office level work is starting to open. What's the state in Brazil? Are you envisioning that you're going to be working from home for the foreseeable future?
It's very tough question to answer. So far, we do not have any forecast and outlook that we can go back to the offices. Someone is saying that it's going to be August, but so far we do not have any announcement between the government, especially regarding the return of the school. So far, without the school, it is going to be impossible to return at the offices. Someone are saying that it's going to be by August to September. Someone saying that it's going to be just to 2021.
And in terms of Natura, then, I mean, we've spoken to a lot of businesses that have had to pivot slightly and focus. Some have turned to manufacturing PPE, for example. We've spoken to some that have had to pause sustainability and let it take a bit of a back seat just to kind of get the short-term financials in order. Obviously, the fact that Natura announced a big net zero commitment, which we'll touch on shortly, but they announced that in June, suggests that sustainability has been very much at the forefront of what Natura has been doing during this period. I'm guessing that you've still been able to really kind of accelerate your ambitions around the environment and society and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. It was a very good question that it was a good period or not to launch our commitment 2030 vision that we call it them commitment to life. But then we understand that it's good to reinforce the values of the company, and therefore we call them commitment to life, so we could cover all the aspects when we are talking about sustainability agenda, not only the environmental but also the social aspect.
And in terms, I mean, yeah, the commitment to life, very timely considering what is happening in the world right now. But in terms of getting that out, the actual target and strategy out the door, I mean, I'm guessing you've been working on that for years, if not a little bit less. So you probably didn't envision for this to happen when you announced it. So was it refreshing that actually you kind of did get the sign off to be able to launch this, even though the pandemic had very much taken the hearts and minds and interest away from the sustainability agenda a little bit in terms of the public?
I don't think so. I think in the opposite way, we have a very good reception from even the stakeholders and the shareholders that we have, and even from the suppliers and other competitors that saying that yes, we need to push, especially because from now the global is facing this challenge to recover back better. So how we can try to have more sustainable choices and green deals from now on. So yeah, I think it's a proper moment to do that.
No, definitely. Yeah, the narrative we've seen in the UK around the green recovery has been really strong, albeit not quite reciprocated by the government just yet. But globally, this green recovery mantra has picked up a lot of traction. So the fact that corporates can align their strategies to that is great. And obviously, Natura is doing that through its net zero target, which is set at 2030. What was the kind of reasoning behind, that's a 10-year window to reach that. What's the reasoning behind that, and what are some of the key changes that's going to have to happen to Natura's business model to reach that?
Yeah, inside Natura, we have been working with climate change since 2007. So it was agenda that we have been working for a quite while, and we understand that we need to go to another level. So that is for we make the commitment to achieve a net zero 20 years ahead of the deadline that we have from the United Nations, that was 2050. So we understand that one of the others that we need to face is how we can try to have renewable energy at the same time as energy efficiency. In the other hand, how we can see a green logistics for the distribution of our consumer goods. And last but not least, how we can embrace circularity and even regeneration aspects for our products and our packaging. So it's a mixture between all of them. And for sure, we are not going to do that alone. We need to have support from our suppliers, from the government as well, and even from the academia, because there are some solutions that we need to invest and develop those solutions to be affordable so we can put in place.
Yeah, I think regeneration that you mentioned there is going to be the key aspect of a net zero world, really, not just looking at reductions, but actually restoring planetary health in that sense, which is great to see. We at Edie kind of first really came across Natura on a kind of being able to speak to you basis when you acquired the Body Shop, and more recently the acquisition of Avon. Now the Body Shop is obviously really well known for its sustainability and its I mean, that commitment to life that you mentioned was very much aligned to what the Body Shop was up to. Avon I'm a little less familiar with, but what are your kind of hopes for that brand in terms of sustainability and the wider kind of net zero movement?
Yeah, the agenda, of course, is for Natura Co Group. So is the Ford brand, Natura, Avon, Aesop, and also the Body Shop. So the idea is how we can have a common agenda, and also how we can try to join forces and even have the synergies between the operation that we have for the Ford brand. So it's the way that we always say is inside that we want to be the best company for the world and not the best company of the world. So it means that how we can try to implement this in a disruptive way, we understand that is going to demand systematic change, and to do that, how we can try to join forces with other international movements so we can accelerate this process. And it's a challenge to do that. It's just a period of 10 years, but at the same time, it's a thing that we need to raise the bar for the market, and we want to do to be the pioneers to do that.
No, that sounds like a very good approach to it. And in terms of looking ahead, then we mentioned it's less than 10 years now for the 2030 deadline for net zero. But in terms of for the rest of the year, we're just over halfway through. Are there any kind of quick wins or initiatives that you think Natura will be focusing on for the remainder of 2020?
Yeah, we have already trying to look what are the synergies that we have for the operation between the Ford brands, especially regarding logistics. And the other thing is how we can try to merge the efforts that we have regarding circularity. There are several pilot initiatives between each one of the companies. So how we can try to learn from each one of the experience and try to have a final solution, more robust one that we can scale up for the whole group.
Okay, Kevin. Well, and if I know one thing, it's that once a new target has been announced, especially once broad as net zero, it's not a time for sustainability professionals to be able to rest on their laurels. It's all systems go for you. So I'm sure you've got a lot to be getting on with for the rest of the day and indeed the month and the year. So I won't keep you any longer. But thank you so much for being a guest on this new series. Appreciate how manic things are and how disruptive things are. So. Yeah, appreciate you taking time out of a busy schedule to speak to me today.
Yes, thanks, Matt, for the opportunity.
No worries. And for everyone watching as well, obviously, Susty Talk will continue to roll throughout the coming months where we're not quite sure when the end deadline is. It's whilst we're working from home, this is a great way to kind of connect with our audience and discuss key topics around sustainability. So there will be more episodes of Susty Talk coming up. In the meantime, stay safe, stay positive, and keep up the Susty Talk.